Alright guys, welcome back to F1 News. Quick update today on the Ferrari side. They believe after Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both managed to finish the Montreal Grand Prix, congratulations to Ferrari, that their reliability problems, at least for the near future, have been solved after serious issues at Spain and certainly in Baku, where arguably victories were thrown away on both occasions and Charles Leclerc threw away therefore an awful lot of points. They reckon that the steps they've taken the last few weeks or so have fixed these issues and they should not have any concerns for the near future. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Firstly, speaking of Ferrari, thought this is kind of remarkable. Most wins with a constructor without winning the title with that particular team. Sebastian Vettel took 14 wins with Ferrari, failed to win the title with the team. Coulthard at McLaren, Massa at Ferrari, Alonso with Ferrari. Definitely a very consistent trend, Bottas I suppose with Mercedes as well. But yeah, consistent trend of drivers driving with a particular constructor, mainly Ferrari, and well, winning an awful lot of races, but failing to ever win the championship at that team. So we shall see if this kind of trend continues with Charles Leclerc, of course. He's had an awful lot of pole positions, 14, 15 or so now, but of course has only won 4 races so far, so we'll see if that story changes going forwards. Now speaking of some of these other teams, just real quick before, Ferrari and McLaren are apparently going to bring some upgrades. Lando Norris has said that they have a few things in the pipeline. It's kind of been clarified that McLaren are not 100% committed to this year's model, they're looking more towards next year's MCL36, as opposed to focusing too much on this year's car, but there still has been some talk that they're going to try and bring a few things here or there, as of course every team is, and generally Silverstone is a good track to do exactly that. Aston Martin apparently also looking to bring a further car upgrade, so who knows what their car will look like now, because of course they copied the Red Bull. Is it gonna look, I don't know, half Ferrari, half Red Bull when they turn up here to the British Grand Prix? But Aston Martin, they've certainly made some progress. They've been looking more competitive the last few races, largely because you could argue they the car is rather similar to the Red Bull, the green Red Bull, as some have been calling it. So yeah, they've made some progress. Apparently they're gonna look to make further progress as well. And Ferrari have also made some progress, right? Verstappen said a few days ago that if Red Bull don't improve and get quicker, then Ferrari are going to beat them to race victories, because he feels like they had a bit more pace in Montreal than he did, but still managed to hold on to the race win regardless. But of course the key point for Ferrari has been actually finish the races, right? Get to the end of the races and put some points on the board, which certainly they've been struggling to do so far this season. Obviously at the start of the year it was Verstappen and the Red Bull guys that were struggling with reliability. Now that's completely turned itself around, and it's Ferrari who not only have they been struggling with reliability, but the issues that Red Bull had were kind of like fuel leak issues and the like, which they can easily fix and not have to take engine penalties for. But the engine explosions effectively that Ferrari have dealt with mean that already Charles Leclerc is on his 4th power unit this season, just in the 9th race of the year, which will mean that further engine penalties will be required as the season progresses, which isn't great for them. Therefore they're going to have to win races in pure pace a lot of the time if they want to actually bring this championship back in their favour. And of course they absolutely cannot afford any more DNFs, or Verstappen is more than likely going to walk away with this year's title. Now Ferrari say they've pretty much solved these reliability issues as is described right here, because there were some rumours actually the fact that because Leclerc couldn't get past Ocon in that period where he just didn't seem to have the tyres, or effectively he didn't have the grip out of turn 10 in order to challenge Ocon down the straight, because that Alpine is pretty quick in a straight line. Now people were saying, okay, was it maybe the engine on Leclerc's car not running at full power to make sure it didn't it didn't explode? But Otto denied that and said, no, we were at full power, we believe this engine is as it's going to be and it shouldn't have any more issues. And as he says, we did not expect what happened in Baku. Obviously you're not going to expect an engine blow up because it happened incomprehensibly at very low kilometers, I suppose, on the engine. Now we've introduced 2 new power units with Charles, so we will have breathing space for some, indeed for many races. Unless there are situations we do not understand, I would say that for the next Grand Prix there will be no worries, or rather everything will be under control. So it could be famous last words here from Bonotto, but yeah, I believe what they kind of think in effect caused some of the issues in Baku was that they maintained some of the parts in the engine that gave up the ghost in Spain, and then they brought those same parts and mixed them with some parts from the new engine in Baku, and then the engine didn't like that much, and then of course the engine gave up the ghost as I just described. So they say unless there are situations we do not understand, so he's clarifying that maybe we don't fully understand this situation, but yeah, unless that's the case, everything is under control. So we shall see if this turns out to be true. But of course, yes, a 49-point deficit Leclerc currently has to Max Verstappen. That's going to be a hard one to overturn. 2 race victories though, and 2 DNFs for Verstappen. You wouldn't rule out more DNFs happening for Verstappen this year. A couple of crashes in there, a couple of mechanical DNFs. Who knows what's going to happen, right? It is a long season and things have already changed around substantially already, but certainly no more DNFs can be had from the Ferrari side. And as they go on to say, now we've got fresh power units for the next races, certainly 4 races still to the summer break, so they're confident over the next 4 races, he can attack, he can recover some points where he can, if he can, and for that to be the case, of course, they've got to make sure the engine actually makes it to the end of the race. So we shall see on that front. Of course, Leclerc's not giving up hope. He said that it's still certainly possible he can make the comeback, but of course, yeah, awful lot, it relies on the car, right? And some have said, okay, Leclerc, he's made some mistakes, he's made some, albeit be relatively minor mistakes so far this year. The only real major one that I can think of is probably what happened at Imola, right, where he messed up trying to chase down Perez at the end and put it in the wall, and honestly got kind of lucky to hold on to some points in that race. And in fairness, like turn 1 at Baku, like giving up the lead there. So there's been a couple of mistakes, but generally it's been the car situation that's been holding Leclerc back this year. A couple of other things to mention on the Alpine side, because they've also said that they're bringing some upgrades through to Silverstone. Have also said that they will accept the porpoising changes from the FIA, the kind of rulings that they've brought into play. And I'm sure there's going to be more drama on this over the coming days as well, but only if it kind of keeps a level playing field. They say that if these kind of additional changes swap around the order at all, then that's not fair on them. But I'm sure we'll see, as I say, some more upgrades and drama to this story over the coming days. And also to mention this as well, because there was some rumours that Toto Wolff and Christian Horner and Mattia Binotto were having a bit of a, let's just say fisticuffs, but verbal fisticuffs in a team meeting the other day, and the Netflix cameras were there to effectively witness it all, and have a good time as a result. And then Horner was saying, Wolff should get in Hamilton's new film because his acting was just that good. And even like Otmar saying for the Alpine side that maybe the presence of those cameras in the boss meetings might well be good for the sport, bring some more eyeballs on, right? Because effectively some of these team bosses probably fancy themselves, some actors here or there as well. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Drive to Survive next year might contain some interesting behind the scenes footage, let's just say. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.